Hey everybody, Lee from PcjunkieMods here. So today in front of me I have the Phanteks Enthoo Primo chassis. It is a very nice and big chassis here. So what we're going to do is do a little review or look over, whatever you want to call that. I'm not going to call it an unboxing because I've already taken it out of the box. But I just wanted to show you what you're getting for, I think the price point is 250 bucks. So I want to show you what you're getting for $250. So for starters, let's start with what the accessory pack actually comes with. The accessory pack has a very nice big box, and reason being is you get a optional 240 rad mount bracket that goes in the back. I'll show you where that goes later. You get a very nice manual. It has very detailed instructions inside. And then you have some zip ties, replacement feet. I assume that's what these are. And some other straps, and then you also get a little toolbox with all the screws and stuff inside it. So it's like most chassis, you get pretty much all you can think of. You got fan screws, motherboard screws, hard drive screws, you know, you name it, they're in there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the chassis here. So on the front, the first thing you notice is the nice big windows. This one here, right behind it, is the actual Phanteks emblem. And then this pretty much covers all your hardware. And then let's spin around to the front here. And also on the side here, right here, you can see there's a little vent that helps with airflow. And then on the front, nice clean look. You have the door for your 5 1/4. It does support 5 5 1/4. And also you have a, this is a little hard to push on. There you go. You have a filter. So on the front, as you can see, there's 240mm fans right now. So pretty easy. You can actually take off the filter here if you wanted to wash it or clean it up, you know. So pretty easy disassemble. And this is pretty sturdy. I mean, this has got a little bit of weight to it. So no cheap parts or products here. That's for sure. Let me get this back in here. I'll put that back on. That is a little hard to push. Then you have more vent here. Vent on the side down this way. This is the start button here. And then also the reset. No, that's an LED there. And I want to say there's like a real smooth piece of plastic here. I want to say that this might be an LED behind it because there's an LED button here. Then you have a resetting. And then you have a bunch of USBs here that are also covered up. So there's USB 2.0s, there's USB 3.0s, and they got these cool little plastic covers in case you're not using them. Keeps the dust out, so that's a nice little feature. Then you have your headset and your mic jack. That's pretty much it on as far as buttons go. And then on the back side here, you'll see that there's a 240 or a 280 configuration, so 140mm fan, and then you can see the other screw holes here for 120s. And then this is for the power supply venting. Power supply is on its side. I'll go ahead and spin it around. And then on the back here, you have this sliding option for your 140 or your 120, depending on which one you want to use. It does come with a 140mm fan. So you could actually, it's screwed into the bottom position, but you could slide it up, and that's a nice little feature. It also has dual power supply mount capability. This is where your main power supply would go. If you wanted to add another power supply, you can pull out this grill here with the screws and then put it in there, or you can actually put a fan there. So you could put a 140 or a 120 configuration on the back. It doesn't say in the manual what this is, but my guess is, since this is a really water cooling friendly chassis, that it could be used as an optional reservoir mounting area. As you can see, there's sliding and multiple patterns there. So that is my best guess for that. And then as you can see, it does have 8 PCIe expansion or PCI expansions. So that covers that. Let's go ahead and look at the top. So here you got this nice big fan filter, and this just to push down in the middle there. So you can do a 480 millimeter rad up top, which is 420 millimeter fans, or you can do three 140 millimeter fans, which is a 420 rad. And they all have the sliding. That's like a new feature. I've seen that on the NZXT chassis also. It kind of makes it convenient because if you want to put your ports on this end for your radiator, you could probably slide it forward a little bit to get a clearance from the I/O in the back and the back fan, or vice versa if you wanted to get clearance in the front. So that pretty much covers the outside. Let's go ahead and take a look at the inside. Okay, so now we're in the inside here. So for as far as form factors go, it supports ATX, micro ATX, SSIEEB, which is like a workstation motherboard. ASUS makes the P9X79WSE motherboard. That is a little bit bigger of a motherboard. It also supports extended ATX, which is EATX motherboards. So also you'll see this nice little pop out here. Your power supply is actually behind there. So by it being behind there, you don't see any of the wires. You have some grommets. There's a lot of grommets, which is nice, above the motherboard also, and some behind this bracket. Now this bracket here composes two different things. It composes hide your wires, or you take this little plate off, these 4 screws, and there's hole pattern for reservoir mounting. So for water cooling, it's pretty awesome to have your reservoir right there. Let's move down to the bottom here. So on the bottom area for the radiator support and fan support, it does come with a 140 mil fan down here. It supports 2 140 millimeter fans or 2 120 millimeter fans. Now with the with the water cooling options, as far as that goes, you could put possibly a 280 here or a 240. If you wanted to, you could actually take this bracket out, and it supports a 480 or a 360. Now I'm not quite sure if you have to remove this section here to do that, because it does have screws instead of rivets at the top and the bottom. So that pretty much covers that spot. And then let's move over to our nice little Phanteks logo here. Now it does have a nice size window that pretty much covers this whole area. So I'm thinking that to focus here, and then maybe if you were clever enough for modding, you wanted to put 2 SSDs right here, it would be perfect for that window. Of course you'd have to make some modifications, but that's what I do. So let's move up to these 5 1/4 latches here. So they have a nice little push button plastic deal here, not too shabby. Also have the screw holes in case you need to put the screws in your disk drives. And then at the bottom here, you have 2 fan filters. As you can see, push in there and it pops out. Nice little feature. As you can see, they're nice little filters here. It looks like they go in pretty simple. That's that. So and then, as I've talked about earlier, in the front, it does support a 240 or a 280 millimeter radiator, which is basically 2 140 mil fans or 2 120 millimeter fans. As you can see, there's enough clearance to actually attach a radiator back here. How you're going to get the tubing out of there is totally up to you. I can think of a few ways, but anyway, so as far as hard drives go, you have plenty of hard drive space here. There's 6 3.5 bay setups, sliding setups, and another cool feature is, as Dwight had pointed out to me earlier, is you can make this look like a little guy. He's got arms and legs now, so makes life easy for locking in the drives instead of having to spread this open and worry about breaking it. So anyways, and then you also have up here 2 SSD brackets, which is a nice feature instead of right in the way of your actual hard drives. And they do slide. They're on, everything's on grommets, so they slide right in and out, which is a nice thing. You can see there's little cable ties here and there. You got some wires from the front. Let's go down here. So this little bracket, I had to look inside their manual to figure out what it was. Come to find out, this is a pump bracket. So you can mount your water cooling pump to this. Now there's 2 different locations, one where it's at, and then one would bring it over a little bit. There's a little screw hole here. So that is that's pretty cool. Did I talk about you can move the hard drives over?
No.
Also, as far as the hard drives go, this whole setup can actually move over. So you could take it and slide it forward if you wanted to, maybe to get more clearance and have wire routing going back that way. I'm not sure why you'd want to move it, maybe for a 360 rad. So I'll discover that later on. I did talk about this bracket earlier. So this bracket is to optionally put in a 240 or a 240 rad. So it goes right there somewhere. There's screw holes down here. That's where it lands, and then it screws in up here. Now, my guess is for either put a radiator here, or if you do that, you're gonna have to probably take out the hard drives, or just put fans here for cooling for your hard drives. Now on the back door there is a section here cut out for ventilation. If you don't use this bracket, you can actually, it has a plate on the inside of the door that covers up that hole so you don't get dust and stuff into the case. So that's a nice feature too. And as you can see, plenty of room for your power supply here. It's got little grommets for your power supply to sit on depending on if you have a short power supply or a long power supply. So that's a nice feature. There's plenty of room down here obviously for the power supply, and then there's about an inch here of clearance where all the wiring would be at. And as I'm just noticing, so if I take this little bracket and I wanted to move that to another location, I could actually go here for an optional to have your SSD over there. So that's another cool little thing. It'd be cool if they would have supplied all three brackets, because then you could have 3 SSDs there. But they obviously did it for a reason. So then as far as wires go, as you can see, I talked about all the wiring, or all the buttons and switches up top. There's a lot of power probably for the LEDs. So if you wanted to plug your LEDs straight into that, you can use that switch. I'm sure that also ties into some lighting somewhere, because I see a lot of wires that are going to the front of the chassis here. So I'm pretty sure that there's LEDs in here. There's a fan LED wire. There's more wires over there. So, and then as far as wiring goes, it does come with a fan controller. There's notes on these little, like on the Molex, it says don't connect this Molex cable first, because they want you to connect try the USB, depending on your, or not USB, fan plug. So I'm pretty sure that this fan plug, you would plug it in to see if your motherboard's going to be able to power 6 fans. I don't know what motherboards would support that kind of power out, but I guess we'll figure it out. I'd probably go with the Molex, but the Molex is going to give you full 12 volt unless you rewire it for a 5 volt or 12 volt, depending on how you want to do it. So that's some options. So another cool feature is these Velcro straps instead of plastic straps, and they are screwed down, so you could really wrench down on them, and basically this will fit over whatever wires you put here, and it makes a nice little feature instead of the plastic. I've used, some cases have the plastic strap type things here, but a lot of times they end up bulging and then breaking. So I like the Velcro instead of plastic. Then you got a lot of zip tie areas through the chassis here. There's some spots for something, not quite sure what, but maybe more straps. I think you could probably put more straps there. And as you can see, all the grommets. So as far as what you're getting for $250, I think this little look over of the chassis pretty much gives you an idea. In my personal opinion, as a modder doing modifications to cases on a daily basis, I would say for $250, there's not much on this chassis to mod, because of the fact that it's already been thought of. So that's one of the good features about the chassis, is they thought about cable management, hiding the power supply, water cooling options. There's massive water cooling options in here. So as far as somebody looking to get into extreme water cooling, this would be the chassis, because everything's already done for you. You can hide all your wires, and your water cooling options are you have a wide variety, let's just say that. Radiator on the floor, radiator on top, radiator in the front, radiator in the back. Wherever you want to put a radiator, practically you can put it in this thing. Another thing is I do know that there will be more options for this chassis. I did see Phanteks at CES, and at CES they had a couple different versions of this chassis, so I'm not going to do any spoilers unless I think they've already announced, maybe they've already announced them. There's a white version, white and black version, and then there's a black with red accent version, and then there's a black with white accent version, and then they also have 2 other chassis that are coming out, more geared for your mid-range and your lower end range, which I wouldn't call it lower end because I looked that chassis over, and very nice chassis. The mid-range has a lot of these features in it, just not as big a chassis. It's more of a mid-tower chassis, but it has a lot of water cooling. So I mean, for the price point, you know, either chassis. I mean, if you're going extreme, this is the way to go. So with that said, thanks for watching my video. Until next time.